You know, we're the party of common sense. It's not conservative, liberal. They don't want to be called liberal anymore. They want to use progressive. We're progressive. Progressive. I think liberal is more appropriate. Progressive is such a beautiful word, right? You know, it's progressive. Progressive means go forward. They don't go forward, they go backward. As we rapidly rebuild American deterrence, we will quickly restore peace and stability in our country, but all over the world. We'll make our country a much safer place. We're in grave danger of a war, a third world war, I tell you. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, and as I said, we're going to do things that are going to be shocking to people. But what I'm going to do more than anything else, I'm going to get things in line, and we're going to prevent that World War III. And if you look at what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, if you look at it now, there's an incursion into Russia. Then there'll be another incursion the other way. Then there'll be, and then all of a sudden, bad things will start to happen. They're already starting. By contrast, if Comrade Kamala wins this November, World War III is virtually guaranteed to happen. Everything she touches, she destroys. Everything that she's touched, you look at her life. She was district attorney in San Francisco. The place went to hell. It was the best city in the world probably 15, 18 years ago, 20 years ago. Maybe in the whole world, it was one of the best cities in the world. Then she becomes the Attorney General of the state of California. That place went to hell. It was helped by Gavin Newsom. Newsom helped, but she was terrible. And it's crime-ridden, and I mean, you can't walk down the sidewalk anymore. It's just unbelievable what's happened to that state. So sad. Best weather, beautiful ocean, everything is good, but they've just let it go to hell. And she's going to do the same thing to the United States. And when she says, I'll let you frack. Her whole career, she said no frack, in Pennsylvania in particular. No, because they get tremendous wealth from fracking. They're going to be stopped. 100% they're going to be stopped. She just changed her view a few months ago. You got to see. You know, she ran against Biden. There were 22 people running. She was the first to leave. She quit because she went down like that. And she was the first one out. She never made it to the first state in the primary. She never made it to Iowa. Never made it to Iowa. She didn't get one vote. And she still hasn't gotten one vote. And she won't have one vote. Think of it. Biden, I'm not a fan of Biden. I think he was terrible. A terrible president. What he did to our country, you look at him with the planes and the stairs and the falling all over the place, and he had no idea what the hell was happening. He couldn't find his way off a stage. A stair here, stair there, stair. I got stairs all over the place. He'd finish his speech. I'd look around. Where am I? His speeches lasted. The nice part, it was good in the hot sun because they lasted for about 2 minutes and you could go home. But nobody would come anyway. But we can't let her. She's much worse than him, actually, because she's actually more radical. He never believed it. He just did it for votes. I don't know why you'd get votes by having open borders. You know, she wants open borders. If she became president in 4 years, she'd have 60 to 70 million people from all over the world. And it's not just South America. And remember, they're releasing them from their jails and their prisons. They're coming out of jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums. Then we have hundreds and probably thousands of terrorists that have come into our country. We probably have a few here. Welcome, welcome. But we probably have a few here. And she's all for it. And now she's saying, and you see what she's saying, well, the wall was largely built. We were adding space onto the wall. We built hundreds of miles of wall. I actually took it because Congress gave us a hard time and the Democrats were brutal. We had 11 lawsuits and we won all 11, but I took it out of the military. I called it an invasion of our country. It was an invasion. And we built hundreds of miles of wall. And then I was going to do 200 extra. We ordered it. It was there. And we had that rotten, horrible election where we did much better than we did the first time. And bad things happened, and all of a sudden, I hear that they want to have open borders. And I thought they were kidding. Who the hell wants open borders? And then they said, we'll give you health care. You know, now they're saying all about how they're getting tough in the borders, and how they were tough, except they have a couple of problems. Do you know that we flew in 1 million people, airplanes, over the top of the border, beautiful airplanes. They're flying them in. If you want to stop people, you're not flying them in on airplanes, and many other things. No, they wanted open borders, and we have a country that's loaded up with many, many criminals right now, of the worst. They emptied their jails. They emptied their jails and prisons. They emptied their mental institutions into our country, largely. Now, they're continuing to do it. But if you look at many of these countries that we're talking about, frankly, who can blame them? They're dropping their prisoners into the United States of America. They're dropping all of these people into the United States, including their mental institution people. Any terrorist they have, they're dropping them into the United States. We're taking hundreds of thousands of people that were in jail for murder. You take a look at Venezuela, their jails are half. And I'm surprised half, because frankly, I would have worked faster than that. If I were running it, I would have had all of them out of there by now. They go to Caracas, they take all their gang members, all of their killers, their murderers, their drug dealers, they take them and they're putting them into the United States, and their crime is down 72%. In fact, next time what we'll do, instead of North Carolina, we'll have our next little gathering in Venezuela, because it will be much safer than being in our country. If these people win, you're not going to have any meetings, you're not going to have anything. There'll be chaos in our country. And we just can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. Remember, when Biden sent Kamala to Europe to stop the war in Ukraine, she met with Putin, and then 3 days later, he attacked. How did she do? You think she did a good job? She met with Putin to tell him don't do it, and 3 days later, he attacked. That's when the attack started. Did you know that, General? Should have sent you. But over 500,000, they say, are dead or wounded, but it's a much higher number than that, and everything lies in ruin. Look,